Today we're going to be talking all about the New Balance Beacon version 2, how it got on in the long run test, and of course my final thoughts on this shoe. So there we go guys, 23.2 miles done and dusted in this thing, probably the best long run test that I've been able to put a shoe through because of course we're tuning up for the Abingdon Marathon. So the New Balance Beacon version number 2 has now gone through all of the tests and we have put 49 miles in this thing already. I have no idea where the miles have gone, but I'm delighted to put that many miles in it to really now give you my full thoughts and how this thing really fared on the long run and how I foresee myself using this moving forward. So if you're excited for today's video, make sure you give it a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new here, and of course without further ado, let's dive in. So for me, the long run test is pretty much determines how I'm going to be using a shoe moving forward. Ultimately for me, long runs, if you've been following the channel, are a big part of my training, especially when I'm training for half marathons and marathons. A long run workout is just the bread and butter of my training, and to be perfectly honest with you, it's the best workout of the week. I love the long runs. Gives me a chance to go out there, blow away the cobwebs and see how I feel on those longer interval sessions, or just a nice easy plod through the Forest of Dean. So how did this thing fare? Well, there are two things that I want to bring up with you, two issues, shall we say. Number one, for me personally, and I'd love to know your thoughts on this in the comments below because I know a lot of you running this shoe, the midsole is just too hard. My feet were aching for a good couple of days after the long run, and it wasn't until the Monday night when I went out in the New Balance Fuel Cell Propels with a nice soft cushioned feeling that my feet started to feel better. It was kind of my feet just went, that's better. Just too hard, too much. I mean, the fit, I didn't have to retie the laces, well, we'll come to that in a minute, but the fit and everything, it was just great, it was brilliant, and I've got no issues with the shoe in terms of that. But the midsole for me is built for the speed work, the 5 to 10 to 12 mile workouts on the industrial estate or on the trails where I'm working on those shorter, faster intervals, because the firmer midsole gives me that springiness and snappiness that I need. But in terms of the long run, it just doesn't cushion my feet enough, in my opinion, and my feet just felt a little bit too beat up. And the second thing I want to mention, this is probably just my shoe, but I'd love to know if you guys experienced it as well. In the left foot, in this one in particular, the midsole, the insole just kept coming out. It was creeping up and up and up and up and up at the back. So I was running and the midsole was poking out the back of my shoe, and then in the end I just had to pull it out because it was just kind of like really annoying me. I had to stop twice on the run to put this thing back in, which was extremely frustrating. You can imagine at mile 15 and 18 having to stop on an alternating mile long run workout was not ideal. So it took a while for the legs to get going again, but it was a bit frustrating. It's nothing a bit of super glue can't fix, and it's probably just my shoes, but again, I'd love to know if there was an issue with yours. But in terms of the long run test, it did okay. It did okay. It held up. It felt comfortable. No blisters, no hot spots, nothing. A great shoe in terms of fit. I can't compliment New Balance for the fit of their shoes with the Propel and this thing. It's great. My feet absolutely love them. I just can't get on with the midsole on this thing in the long run workout. So those are kind of my thoughts on how it got on at the long run test, but how do I feel about the shoe overall? And of course, as I said in the beginning, how are we going to be using this thing moving forwards? So as I've just alluded to, moving forwards, I think this shoe for me is going to be reserved for speed work and the shorter easy runs. My Monday easy runs tend to be around an hour long. That's going to be perfect for this. In terms of my overall thoughts on the shoe, it's a good shoe. It's a great shoe. I'll reiterate exactly what I said in my initial impressions. It's a great shoe for the price, but you're not paying a premium price and therefore you're not getting a premium product. £80 I've paid for this thing, and I feel I'm getting a top end quality product for £80. But having tested it across all the distances and all the formats on the trails and the roads, I can now kind of foresee how I'm going to be using this thing moving forwards. Would I recommend it? Yes. I mean, for an everyday trainer, it's great. And if your long runs aren't going to be too long and not too taxing, it could well be the perfect shoe for you. But you just have to be aware that the midsole is very firm, a lot firmer than any of the shoes I've run in this year. I am going to be reserving use for this, as I said, with speed work. It's going to be great on those winter nights out in the industrial estate when I am doing mile repeats, kilometre repeats, 400 metres, literally from 1 minute on, 1 minute off, all the way up to mile repeats, 2 mile repeats, 15, 20 minutes, 5k repeats, just the whole shebang. It's going to be fine for that, but I think there's a limit for me, and my feet really started to hurt after about an hour and a half in this shoe. And by the time I took my feet out of the shoe at 2 hours and 45 minutes, as much as I was feeling great and I had a great run and it was incredible, that's thanks to the Unived products I've been testing, my feet were burning. So those are kind of my overall thoughts. As I said, I'd love to hear what your thoughts are in the comments below. Let me know if you've got the New Balance Beacon version number 2, how you're using it and how you foresee using it in the future. That's it from me today. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a like, share it with your friends, and of course do consider subscribing to the channel for weekly running content, and I will see you next time. Until then.